Hey guys, today I want to do an out-of-box review for this kit. This is the HG Garazzo from the Gundam 00 series. As some of you may know, I'm not really a huge fan of a lot of the designs from the series, but the Garazzo, the Godessa, and I think maybe one more anyway in that series. Anyway, my point is that there's a few of them that I do like, and actually the reason that I got this kit was just because it was pretty cheap and I like the design well enough. So this is actually going to be the very first kit that I'm going to paint with my airbrush, so that's why I'm just doing this out-of-box review for it now. I actually got this a while ago and I snapped it up, and it's just been kind of sitting and waiting for its chance to be practiced upon, basically. So that's this. So since I couldn't do an unboxing for it, I want to give you guys a look at the box now, if I may. Here's a look at the front of the box. It's pretty cool box art there. I do like it. I do wish that the fingers were actually segmented like that in the beam effect parts, but we'll see that here shortly. This kit is from 2009, so pretty old, and it is a pretty cheap kit, so it's got that going for it. Here on the sides you can see about the GN beam claw, GN field action, and then a bit about some gimmicks of it with the feet, the backpack, the face. It does come with a base, that's always good. This is number 40 in the HG00 line. And then here we get a little bit about the markings for that. This is a shot from the anime, just front and rear there. Just some Photoshop art there, and then some bit about the pilot. Bring Stebti. Okay, yeah, I just remember that they have goofy names. Okay, 1500 yen. I'm sure, I can't remember exactly where I bought this, but I'm sure I bought it at like a Mandarake or something for probably less than 1000 yen. We'll take a quick look at the manual as well, just in case anyone is at all interested. It's pretty standard, I think, if you've ever built any kits from the series. I actually think this might be, oh no, that's right. Manual's a little bit chewed by my cat there. Thanks, pencil. Then here's just kind of the same stuff that we saw on the outside of the box. As you can see, you can have the kit standing, as I just did, but as you can see with most of these poses, they're not showing it like that because it just doesn't look good like that. There's the color guide. I'm going to be painting it in some different colors, so it doesn't really matter right now. Here's a bit about the Godessa. The Godessa will probably be another one that I'm going to paint pretty soon. I do have that. It's in the same state, just snapped and just waiting to be painted. There's some of the runners. There's no extra parts except for on some polycaps, so that's pretty nice. And actually, I mean, if you count the base comes with two separate arms and you're only going to use one of them, so you will have one of those left over. Going through the build, it's just starting off with the body, the head, yeah, right? Body, what's that? The head? And the head, you're right. Then the shoulders and the arms, then the other arm. Then you can see we're putting that together, putting the upper body together, then going on to the legs there, and then back onto the color page, just putting that together, and then about the base, and then putting the backpack together, putting the backpack on, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't come with any weapons at all other than just its GN beam hands, so that's it. Right, so back to the kit. As you can see, it does stand on its own, although it's going to be something that you're probably going to be using the base for. I can't imagine why anyone would not be using the base for this. I mean, with those chicken feet, it just looks really ridiculous. And just the proportions, I mean, this kit, in a way, is very similar to the Elf Bullock, just in that it's supposed to look good flying, and like its legs look slender when it's in the air, but when it's standing it doesn't really look good at all. Like, so it's definitely something that you need to have like up on the base and in some sort of flying pose to really capture the preferred look for the kit. Now, as you can also see, there's quite a lot of good details on here, so I guess that makes it similar to the Elf Bullock as well. Why don't we take a closer look? Okay, so if you'll notice on the head, there should actually be a red clear piece in there in front of the face, but I actually broke that, so I'm going to try to fix it. If I can't fix it, I'm just going to do without. Like I said, I really don't care. This kit is mostly just to practice my airbrushing, and it should turn out well enough, but anyway, I'm not going for like anime accuracy, so if it's missing that part, it's okay. The part that's inside there is actually molded with some like eye details there, so even without that clear red piece, it's still going to look pretty cool. But some good movement there on the head. It's pretty basic for an HG. Really wanted to say RG there. It's going to turn around and it's going to just have just basic ball joint kind of movement. Not really any forward and back, but not really much up, but some very nice downward motion there. And then with those spikes, it looks pretty good like that, so that's pretty cool. The shoulders are very large, as you can see, and they're just going to do same kind of normal shoulder stuff. Get some rotation there under the shoulder. The shoulder itself can move independently, so there's like kind of two joints inside of there, inside that large shoulder armor, so it can kind of move very far out like that. It's only going to go up about that high, but there's other ways around that. This shoulder, of course, is just nothing. It's just like that. This side does open up. Let's see, just slides out like that. Pretty simple. On the inside there, it's supposed to be painted a different color. I think this maybe did have some stickers, but I think I already threw them away, so sorry, no stickers on this one, but then that just closes back up like that. Pretty simple, pretty cool. I do like that. The elbow just has one joint. You're going to be getting a little bit more than 90 degrees, barely. It's basically 90 degrees. Then the wrist is just a normal ball joint, so regular stuff there. This part on the hands, it doesn't move. You have to kind of pull it off and readjust it, although like that's for the different hands. We'll get to that here in a bit when we go over the accessories, because that's basically all it comes with. So then moving on to the waist, you just get the normal rotation there. It's just on a ball joint, I believe, so you're getting a little bit, a little bit of forward and back movement on that. Let me see. Sorry, a little bit of forward and back movement there, so it's pretty nice, pretty simple. Obviously a very, very tiny waist inside there. The front skirt, as you saw, it just came off. It does have a little movement there, and that's all there is. And the side skirts just have the same kind of movement. Those are just on, so what are those? I think those are just on like the swinging peg polycaps, but pretty simple there. And the back skirt just does not move at all, but there is a, should note there, that's where one of the peg holes is for the base if you want to plug it in there. The backpack, while we're here, does go up and down like that and opens up like that. No rotation or anything. It's just plugged into the back there. It's very easy to just take on and off if you want to have that off, but we're just going to keep it on for now. Moving down to the hips, the legs are going to go out nice and far, forward and back. Of course, there's going to be no problem there because there's not very much in the way of skirt armor here. And in the knees, you're getting a very nice double jointed knee. Some really great movement there, no problems at all. So very nice. No full rotation there at the hips. You are getting some nice rotation as I just popped it off the polycap, off that ball joint, but it's good enough. I think you're never probably going to want to have your legs like pointed out any farther than that, so that's definitely fine. The ankles, now here's where it gets a little bit interesting because it is something that you need to do to kind of transform the feet if you want to have it not open like this. So just the ankles themselves aren't going to move back and forth too much because they're kind of hindered by these parts on the side, but forward and back is going to be pretty fine. Forward only about that much really, but like I said, probably you're going to want this in its aerial pose, which is pointed down, so what you need to do is just close that up and then bring that down, and then as you can see it doesn't quite look right, so we want to close up those two front toes. What you actually have to do is pull them out, and as you can see in that hole there, you have to pull them out and then just reposition them. You have to just pull them out and just change their position a bit. And there you go, and then we'll close that up, and then that sits those closed up totally. And that looks much, much better. To have to pull those parts out to close that is kind of annoying, but it is a really simple HG, so I mean, to make sort of the engineering in that so that you could just close them up without having to take them off, I mean, for an MG, sure, but for an HG, you know, this is fine. So just do like that, and voila. Now those legs are extended with those feet pointing down, and the proportions are going to be looking much, much better. So let's get out its accessories so we can put him on his base. So for the base, we basically got 4 parts. We've got the base part, and we've got a kind of base part of the arm, and then we've got 2 choices in the actual arm part. One is a more open angle, and one is a more sharp angle. And you can see the peg on the end is different too. So depending on what kind of pose you want to do, maybe you're going to change this. If you want to have it in a pose where like it's like flying straight ahead, then maybe you might want to use this one. But for most poses, you're probably going to want to use this one. And then you do have a couple options here, whether you want it to be farther up on the base, I'm not really sure why, or just kind of back in the kind of normal position. So that's what we're going to go with for this. That just plugs in into a hole under between the legs like normal, or onto the back of the skirt. Like if you're using this one, you could plug that onto the back to move the backpack out of the way. Something like that. But for us, we're just going to do this one between the legs, and then there we go, that's that. Then if you did really want to display this just standing, there is a cap piece that goes up under there to plug that hole. For some reason, if you really wanted to display it standing, and if you really wanted to make sure that that hole underneath was covered, you can cap that. Then as you can see, what I've got on the kit now are the open hands, but it does also come with a set of closed fists, which look okay. But with those really, really long fingers, it does look a little bit goofy as fists, but they are still nice, and it is still nice that we're getting the option to have those as fists. And then we do get these hands as well. These are the GN beam claws, I think is what they were called, right? So these are just the only weapons for this kit that we're getting, and they're pretty nice. I mean, the beam effect parts are cool. The problem is, if you look at this closely, you'll have to paint the fingers, because the fingers are just molded in with the beam effect. So to get this to the correct colors, you're going to have to put some paint on those fingers and the inside, the bottom of the hand, because this is basically just the cover and ball joint piece, and then the hand and the beam effects is all just one piece there. So gonna have to do a little bit of masking and painting to get that totally correct, but just kind of no way around that. I've seen people's builds where like they've cut these and separated it to make it so that the beam parts are separated. I thought about doing that, but I'm probably not going to do it now. I'm just not going to mess with that. Actually, the ones that I've seen of people do, it looks okay, but it doesn't really look that great. So probably just going to skip that step this time. As I mentioned before about these kind of claw knuckle things on the hands, if you wanted to use like these fists, you can just reposition these in this forward position like that, so that they're actually like punching. So it's actually like punching with these spikes like that. And then, yeah, I guess you can move that up and down if you want there. But if you have the open hands or these hands, then I think you are limited to only the up position, which is just like this. If you try to move it down, it's just going to pop off, so that doesn't really work. So that pretty much does it for the Garazzo. It's not really a whole lot to say about it. It's a really simple kit, but it is a kit that I really, really do like. Where this kit succeeds, where the Elf Bullock failed for me, was that it's able to pull off some really, really nice poses. The articulation is quite good, and the kit is pretty solid. I mean, for being a pretty slender kit, I mean, it's got some really huge, bulky shoulders, and the side skirt armor is actually quite large too. But I mean, the arms and legs are pretty thin, but this kit does a really good job of just doing what it needs to do, which is looking good and some really dynamic action poses. So no problems there. So that means it's a good kit in my book. So that's it. Like I said, I'm planning on painting this up sometime in the next couple days. I'm going to be getting started. Very, very busy, but yeah, gonna work on painting this. I didn't mention anything about seam lines. Of course, this kit does have quite a lot of seam lines, on most notably on the forearms and on the legs. Pretty standard stuff there. There's some on the backpack as well. Gonna have to do a little bit of fixing on those seam lines and then basically just priming and painting. So I'll probably, I guess, do some work in progress on that. I guess I might as well should, and I know you guys like seeing more like building videos and work in progress videos and stuff like that, so I guess I'll do a work in progress video on this maybe after I've gotten rid of the seam lines and maybe doing the priming and painting and stuff like that. So I guess just maybe let me know what you guys want to see in the building process, and I'll try to show that in future videos. And finally, last thing, I just want to remind you again, guys, I do have the giveaway going on. The deadline for the giveaway is June 16th, so you have some time left, but if you want to learn how to win some free stuff, I'm giving away 5 kits for free to just the people who are lucky enough to win those. So if you want to win something free, go check out that video. Put the link to it right there. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.